Live from Studio A in Central Arkansas, Michael R. Davis Ministries presents Friday in the Driveway, Studio Edition. With host Michael R. Davis. Sidekick and technical director, Bay Davis.
Friday in the Driveway
Studio
Edition.
With some thoughts on how to get through this thing called life, here is Michael R. Davis!
Friday in the
Driveway Studio
Edition.
Hey, welcome in to Friday in the Driveway on Saturday, Studio Edition. That's right, Friday in the Driveway on Saturday, Studio Edition, because it's Saturday evening, it's not Friday evening. Friday in the Driveway is on Saturday. And Bay, can you kind of tell everybody why are we having to broadcast Friday in the Driveway on Saturday this evening?
I had a basketball game yesterday.
That's right. Good old basketball game. They won their game, by the way. I forget what the score was, but they won monumentally. It wasn't, the score was not close, so that was a good thing. So they won their ball game, but we're doing Friday in the Driveway on Saturday, as we will do from time to time, if Friday is taken up. And we'll do Friday in the Driveway on Saturday. But this is our studio edition, our second episode in the studio. And man, we're excited to be in the studio. So very good. My name is Michael Davis, and I'm your host tonight. And it's my pleasure and privilege to be here with you tonight. And then our technical director and sidekick, my lovely daughter, Bay Davis. Bay, go ahead and say hello to everybody.
Hey guys, how's it going?
I think you say that same thing every time.
No.
You don't?
No.
I kind of thought you did. But anyway, that's all right.
Okay, it's okay.
That's all right. But Bay helps me out. She's clicking buttons and doing things, and I have to remind her of some things from time to time. Well, you hadn't gone to camera 2 yet. I mean, I've been waiting. There. See, we got multi-camera, and I've been waiting for you to go to camera 2, and you didn't go to camera 2 yet.
You need to have like a sign that they can't see,
Yeah.
and that tells me when to switch it.
Well, just every so often, just kick back and forth, except for those times, like I discussed with you previously. But anywho.com. Again, thank you guys for being here. Tonight's topic, we're going to talk about the North Pole. Merry Christmas! It's Christmas time. December is here. How many days till Christmas Day? Is it like 19?
No, it's less than that. It's like 17, 16, I don't know.
Something like that. I have to go look at that little deal on the table in the house. But anyway, Christmas just right around the corner. Tonight, Bay and I, we just want to talk about the North Pole. That's right, where Santa Claus lives. The North Pole. But before we get into our topic, there's some cool Christmas movies out there. Bay, what's your favorite Christmas movies?
To start with, one of my favorites is Elf.
I like Elf. Will Ferrell's probably one of my favorite
Yes, great in it.
actors.
It's a good story, but they added some comedy in there, which is great.
Quite a bit of comedy, but go ahead. Yeah, I like it.
Yes, and then we have the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
With old Clark Griswold, played by Chevy Chase there. Yeah, that's a good one.
That one makes me laugh. It's just good. And then we have the Polar Express.
That's a family favorite around here, isn't it?
Yes, I love the Polar Express because ever since I was a child, it's just always been such a pretty movie to watch. I love the animation.
Yeah, the animation's cool. I like the score, the music score in it as well, and the songs. So
Yeah.
good deal. Yeah. So those are some great movies. Well, let me tell you what my favorite movies are. All right, my favorite Christmas smoothie. What did I just say?
I don't know.
Smoothie?
I have no idea.
Susie?
I wasn't paying attention.
I don't have a cluesy. But anyway, but anywho.com, my favorite movies, I think it's because of my store-bought teeth. Kind of messed my words up there. But we won't talk about that.
So
right
your
now.
favorite movies?
My favorite Christmas movies.
No,
What are you saying?
no, I'm having
We're
trouble.
getting all tongue twisted. All right, go back to this camera right here.
Yeah.
Because I got some graphics.
Oh,
So
yeah.
my favorite movies, of course, Elf is mine too. All right, I like the movie Elf. Will Ferrell's one of my favorite characters and actors. He's my favorite comedian. But Bay, I like the movie A Christmas Story. It's with that little guy that he wants that BB gun for Christmas, and everybody keeps telling him, "You'll shoot your eye out." All right, so I like that. It's a Wonderful Life. Now, this is an old movie. This is an older movie, but it's a story of a guy who owns a building and loan, and he's going under, and he gets an opportunity to see what things would be like if he weren't around or wasn't born, and it's just a great story too. I like It's a Wonderful Life, and I can't believe, Bay, you didn't say The Grinch. The Grinch That Stole Christmas. That's a good funny movie too.
I will say, I love The Grinch. I really do.
Okay.
It's a good one.
Okay,
I just forgot about it when you called me
I'm with you.
earlier.
I'm with you. And but yeah, The Grinch. But Bay, another one of my favorites, which is the same with you, is the Polar Express. The Polar Express. I like the Polar Express for all the reasons that you said. It's just a cool little show. And my favorite scene in the Polar Express is, Bay?
Hot chocolate.
Your attention, please. Are there any
Was that-
express passengers in need of refreshment? I thought so.
All right, yeah, so that's my favorite scene. That's all about now hot chocolate. That's my favorite part when he slides down the aisle there on his knees. Hot chocolate. And tonight, usually we have sweet tea on the Friday in the Driveway, but tonight we've got hot chocolate. So instead of clinker clanking on iced tea, tonight we're clinker clanking with our Christmas mugs. Go ahead, Bay. Go to your camera, and I'll come over there, and we'll do a little clinker clank for here. I'll come over here. Clinker clank with our hot chocolate. There we go.
I accidentally slipped mine too early, and y'all caught me. Clinker clank.
What's cool? Oh my goodness, that's so good.
I know. That's why
Oh my soul.
I've been drinking it back here.
What's so funny is that they caught you because you turned your camera on. It's not like they did anything to catch
I know. I was making a joke.
Oh.
Wasn't the best one I've ever seen.
Anywho.com. Now the North Pole. What's the North Pole like? You know, in Christmas movies, there are some illustrations, different illustrations of what the North Pole may look like. So Bay and I kind of want to take a look at some of these, just a few of them, and then talk about what we really believe the North Pole looks like. So our first one is from one of our favorite movies. It's Elf. So let's take a look at the North Pole in Elf.
You'll probably hear about the story.
Hey, buddy, wanna get some blueberries?
Not now, Arctic Pumpkin!
We've had another very successful year.
All right, so there we go, Bay, with the Elf movie that has the Santa Claus, the North Pole. So the elves illustrated in this movie are really, Woody. Is it Woody?
Is that his name in there?
I don't know. I don't know what his name is. But anyway, Will Ferrell, whatever his name is, in the movie, he's a lot bigger than the rest of the
No, it's
elves.
Buddy. It's Buddy.
Buddy the elf. Thank you. Boy, we were Woody. Where'd Woody come from? Except for Woody at church. But anyway, Buddy the elf, people. So Buddy the elf is, 6 foot something, 6'4", and all the elves are kind of illustrated as being small, but they're still adults. They kind of look like adults. Santa Claus is ginormous over them and so forth. And what are your thoughts on the elf illustration of the North Pole?
I think it's really cool how they showed the elves as being grown-ups, but just miniature, but not in a, weird way. They're perfect size for being elves, and like everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Elves are kind of smaller. That's kind of the stereotype.
I kind of disagree with you just a little bit in that it is weird. I think it is weird, but I think it's good. I like that illustration of the elves and Santa Claus and so forth. So there we go.
Yeah, it's really nice and happy and.
It is. Now we didn't show it in that, but when he was making the Etch-a-Sketches, he didn't meet his quota. So there, the manager elf was a little upset with him.
But that's still funny.
That is funny. All right, well, another movie that we want to look at, the Santa Claus, not the Santa Claus, but the North Pole illustration, is the movie The Santa Claus. Now, we didn't mention this movie in any of our favorites, right? They're not our favorite Christmas movies, but Tim Allen in The Santa Claus, and there was a Santa Claus 2, and there's a Santa Claus 3, and I think now on Disney Plus there's the Santa Clauses. But anyway, let's take a look at the North Pole in the movie The Santa Claus.
Hey! Hey, buddy! You, sir! Hey! Sit back.
Santa Claus is different out there. All those kids turned into adults. You stop believing and lose the magic.
My back's killed. If you ever try to shove a sea kayak down a chimney, I'm tired of the small talk.
Insurance and a good attorney. Not as good as my wife's, but let's not open up that. Can we take a direct flight back to reality, or do we have to change planes in Denver?
Look, Barnaby, I just want to go home. You know, I must say, you look pretty good for your age.
Is that a polar bear traffic down there?
All right, so there's the Santa Claus, Tim Allen, their illustration of the North Pole. Now, babe, we have a significant difference here in the elves. The elves in this particular movie are actually kids, but they're still like the at the end of the movie where Tim is drinking his hot chocolate, and he tells her that she looks good for her age because she's like a few hundred years old, but she still looks like a kid. So Polar Bear is down there directing traffic. What do you think? What do you think about this illustration of the North Pole?
I think it's unique. It's not really unique, but it's not like other stories I've seen. I think it's really fun. It incorporates kids more.
Yeah, well, you know, Santa Claus and the North Pole, all that is really for kids, right? I mean, us adults can enjoy that as well, but it's really for kids. So it's good that maybe in this movie they illustrate them as kids to better relate to the kids. I don't know. We just kind of have to think about I just wonder what the North Pole really looks like. Maybe it's the way the movie Elf. Maybe it's the way the Santa Claus movie was. I don't know. I just don't know. Let's look at one more illustration, and that's from The Polar Express, a movie that both you and I, Bay, ranked as one of our favorites. And they have a pretty cool rendition of the North Pole. Let's take a look.
Tickets, please, tickets. Yield 3. We just crossed it. Latitude 66 degrees, 33 minutes. The Arctic Circle. And do you see those lights in the distance? They look like the lights of a strange ocean liner sailing on a frozen sea. There is the North Pole. They are gathering in the center of the city. That is where Santa will give the first gift of Christmas.
Who gets the first gift at Christmas?
He will choose one of you.
Look! Elves!
All right, so there's the Polar Express's illustration of what the North Pole would look like. And before I share my opinions, throwing it to Technical Director Bay, how did you feel? By the way, I get so cracked up when he gets so emotional because he gets there 5 minutes early.
Show them.
I'm sorry. What does he say? He says, anyway, I don't know what he says, but he's crying.
Gets out his handkerchief. Blows his nose.
So anyway, but Bay, what's your thoughts on the North Pole as illustrated in the Polar Express?
It's... What?
I'm just waiting. To hear what you're going to say.
Sorry, I must have saw you back there. I just think the North Pole is so pretty. It's kind of realistic to a city of elves. Like, there's buildings that you'd see in a big city around here. But what I liked is those elves, they're all the same. But their faces looked a little different, but they looked the same. And they kind of scared me when I was little. I'm just going to be... Those elves scared me, especially when they peeked over the big bag.
Yeah.
Santa's bag. And their voice... And they're not that tall, because, I think they're, 3 feet tall, maybe.
Yeah, they're little bitty old people. Elves are little. But
I thought it
one
was
thing
so cool.
that's different in the Polar Express from the Santa Claus and from Elf is that they're not really adults or kids as we can kind of see them, but they're kind of their own species of person. Can I say that? Just they're their own. And here's my opinion. This is my vote, and I'm going to turn it over to Bay for her vote. But this is my vote. I think the Polar Express illustrates what the North Pole looks like the best, in my opinion. I think it just makes more sense to have that big city with all of those elves so that Santa Claus can make all of the toys and deliver them all over the world. So that's my vote. Bay, what's your vote?
If we're taking a non-serious vote, I like the elves. Elves North Pole is a nice little story, you know what I mean. And I will say the Polar Express does a good job at really showing that, there's an infinite number of elves to create an infinite amount of toys for all the kids.
All the kids, yeah. So I think that's it. That's our votes, folks. So we leave it in your hands now. Whatever you feel the North Pole is like, it's up to you. We leave it up to you. Christmas time is just a happy time. It's a time of playing. It's a time of family and fun. But also, folks, when we think about the North Pole, we think about the North Pole as being a pretty cool place. But let me tell you, what? There's another cool place that's in the Christmas in the Christmas story. That other cool place is a place called Bethlehem. And it's a city of David. In Luke chapter 2, verses 4 and 7, it says this, "And Joseph also went up from Galilee, from the town of Nazareth to Judea, to the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be registered with Mary, his betrothed, who was with child." She was with child. She was in a family way. And while they were there, while they were in Bethlehem, the time came for her to give birth, and she gave birth to her firstborn son, that's Jesus, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in a manger, because there was no place for them in the inn. So along with the North Pole being a pretty cool place around Christmas, Bethlehem is a pretty cool place too. And Bethlehem is not where there's a lot of elves, and Bethlehem wasn't a place where there was Santa Claus, but Bethlehem was a place where there was a manger, there was a stable, and that's where the Lord Jesus was born. And that was the beginnings of the good news that it was going to be unleashed on the world, that all men could have relationship with Almighty God in the Christ child who was born in a manger. Oh boy. Well, guys, that's our time tonight. Right here on Friday in the Driveway. On Saturday, our studio edition. And again, we'd like to remind you can check us out on our ministry website at michaelrddavisministries.yolasite.com. And Bae, why is it .yolasite.com?
Because it's free!
Free! All right, yeah, because it is free. So check us out on michaelrddavisministries.com as well. And listen, guys, thank you so much again for being with us. My name's Michael Davis again, and we'll be back very, very soon to Facebook Live TV and YouTube Live TV for another episode of Friday in the Driveway Studio Edition. Bae, go ahead and say goodnight to everybody.
Bye, everyone. I hope you have a good night and a wonderful Christmas.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. We do wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from all of us right here at Friday in the Driveway. Now, hopefully we're going to get another episode in before Christmas. All right, so stay tuned. We're going to have to do it pretty quick, though. Christmas is... Anyway, maybe we will, maybe we won't. We're going to just look at the calendar and see what we can do. But you guys have a great evening. As Bae said, Merry Christmas, and we'll see you real soon.